Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on this wonderful Wednesday for what is going to be nothing short of another exciting YouTube video. And of course, today we are going to be sharing our excitement with you guys in regards to not just one, but two pieces of news that potentially have huge ramifications for Hedera Hashgraph and, of course, the Hbar token. I am indeed referring to news that is not even 24 hours old at the time of recording, and that is that Canary Capital have just filed for a Hbar ETF, which will track the native asset of the Hedera network. Now, Canary Capital, and we looked at, I think it was Greg Bell, who is one of the higher-ups at the Hbar Foundation. We looked at a fund that they had launched. And there is an ETF, I believe, by Valkyrie over in one of the German exchanges at the Frankfurt Exchange. But after that, yesterday, they have decided to launch and actually file for a Hedera Hashgraph, the Hbar token ETF specifically. And we very much knew that the fund was opening up the door for an ETF, and Canary Capital, or was it Valkyrie, were actually one of the individuals that initially enabled a Bitcoin ETF that was bought by CoinShares, I believe. And there's every possibility, and what this filing means is there is every possibility, and now we're one step closer to that possibility in the sense that institutions are likely going to be able to gain access to Hbar. It won't just be Hbar that will have an ETF. It will be multiple, and there'll be baskets of cryptocurrencies like the second piece of news that we're going to cover that also includes Hbar. But this is huge because if you look at what cryptocurrencies, the likes of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, one reason they look different to many of the altcoins that are still very much basing, lots of them are broken out or are starting to show signs of life. One reason those three altcoins, or those three cryptos, Bitcoin, of course, not an altcoin, the word altcoin comes from alternative coin to Bitcoin, have done very well. It's because of institutional flows at a time when retail largely hasn't entered the space yet. And what this filing essentially is doing is it's going to enable, once approved, and I think it's going to be likely that it gets approved, as we see the likes of Coinbase also now offering a Hbar product, or Hbar as a part of a product. This essentially is going to unlock institutional capital. And the beautiful thing is this is at a time when retail is largely coming back into the space with the kind of waking up of it, if you will. Retail is not what has driven the cryptocurrency market to the heights and the market cap and the valuation that it has got to today. It's been institutions through largely Bitcoin ETFs, but crypto products. Solana, up until the Ethereum ETF launch, had more inflows than Ethereum in regards to exchange-traded products, including GETH. And the vast majority of the altcoin sector really hasn't been able to benefit through lack of regulation, which we're going to get, and Brian Armstrong was talking about this recently, clarity on, obviously on the back end of a Trump victory and the removal of Gary Gensler. He said that at the Bitcoin 2024 conference. But large institutions haven't been able to gain access to the altcoin space. And that is all changing, and we knew that that was going to change here on Allincrypto. And it couldn't happen to an altcoin that we're more of a favorite of, or have a favoritism towards. You know, Hbar, in my opinion, is going to be the institutional choice for building when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. And for many, many reasons. One reason is it's comforting to know that the network is ran by some of the largest institutions in the world. It's an institutionally ran for institutional distributed ledger. It's also got a fixed fee model, which is very cheap. It's the most eco-friendly distributed ledger that there is due to its DAG properties. And it's exceptionally scalable. One of the most scalable and almost infinitely scalable distributed ledgers that there are on the market. And we can go on and on and on and on and on. And you only are really waiting for that one killer application for Hbar to come to fruition for the tables to entirely turn. You know, I personally believe Hbar could become certainly a top 10 crypto, if not a top 5. And it's not just me that believes that. It's the likes of Duncan Moyer, who I can't remember, is he the CEO of Aberdeen, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, hedge fund in the United Kingdom. He said the same thing. And of course, Aberdeen are a Hedera Hashgraph Governing Council member. So this is huge news This is absolutely huge news. You can get a sense that Eric Balanchunas perhaps isn't the biggest fan of this. There was an interesting take in the comment section. This guy actually does some really great takes, by the way. Canary CEO, so the same person that's enabling the Hbar ETF at the moment or looking to enable it, helped make the first Bitcoin ETF, so he's kind of knows how to get stuff done. Big companies like Google, LG help run Hedera. They are in Hedera's council that oversees most stuff. Hedera uses less energy than other networks. That was done by, I think, the College of London or one of the London universities. It can run more transaction and is cheaper. Interesting that the price is still that low, huh? Hedera trading volume isn't even in the top 100 coins, so it might be hard to run a successful ETF, but we shall see. This was a kind of good take. You know, you don't want to be too one-sided. You want to invite criticism to a blockchain that you're zealous on, and Hedera is certainly one of those blockchains that I'm very zealous on. And don't let this price action that is very much setting up in the same fashion that Cardano did and did nearly 100x for me back in 2021, 2020. It looks the same, and we'll talk about the price in just a second, because we did say, just like, it wasn't just Hedera that had that falling wedge. There were many altcoins out there. Doge made its target. ADA made its target. All of them are waking up, and Hedera is on that journey, and there's higher prices to come, in my opinion. So this is huge news. This is a great step in the right direction. If you understand who Canary Capital are, or Canary are, they're a big player in the space, and they're going for Hedera for a number of reasons. Of course, the Hbar Foundation is working very closely with Canary Capital. We heard Greg Bell's talk on the New York stock or the NASDAQ about why Hedera stands out and why tokenization is relevant. Again, I think Hedera really stands out in that department. If you're going to launch real-world assets, Hedera is the one to do it on. I remember it was Gilbert Verdrian, who's Quant's kind of founder, who essentially said, look, and they work very closely with institutions. He said, if you want to do something fast, do it on Hedera. So this is massive news. And of course, the price, and let's get straight into it, because everybody wants to know about price, reacted, and this is just the first bit of huge news we've got for you, ladies and gentlemen, off the back end of this. We had stated that Hedera was going to get moving, and if we look at this daily candle, it went from all the way from 5 cents up to 7. And in terms of percentages, this candle covered a 47% move. Welcome to the crypto space, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody wants to hold the downside, but everybody wants to appreciate from the upside. And we like to teach that markets essentially move in 4 phases. You have your base, your uptrend, your top, your downtrend. Very simplistic. You know, the Wall Street cheat sheet is just mapping out the emotions that markets go through in this kind of wave-like fashion. Wyckoff's accumulation and distribution, there was an uptrend and a downtrend that followed those 2 schematics. Dow's theory talked about it. Stan Weinstein talk about it. You know, we talk about it. We've sort of derived our entire method as a result of it. And this is very much just accumulation, ready for that continuation, that uptrend, and which it's yet to really see, because the altcoin market has largely been driven by retail, and retail isn't here yet. However, this is really going to unlock, in my opinion, a more institutional grade of inflows. So this is massive news. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section. And in our daily market update today, we're going to get into the second bit of news now, before we sort of finish things off on a little bit of price action. We covered the fact that Coinbase have just launched a 50 coin index. And Brandon, Hbar Bull, go give him a follow, by the way, guys, is correctly highlighting here that this is massive. Hbar is included. The importance of this can't be overstated. As mentioned, this is the precursor to basket crypto ETFs, which we've always said were coming. In fact, we track an ETP in the likes of Greystail's Digital Large Cap Fund, and look at this go now, guys. And we use this as a barometer for being bullish on the altcoin space more broadly. You know, we've been looking at it since it was down here. It's making targets, and it's going to continue to do so. But this is certainly clearing the way. And if we dive into who's actually going to be gaining access to this, it's essentially going to be eligible institutional and Coinbase Advanced users will be able to trade Coinbase's 50 index via the Coin 50 perpetual future on the CoinDesk institutional exchange, so more institutional. Coinbase Coin 50 Prep is available in some jurisdictions outside the US, UK and Canada. And of course, this actually has Hedera in it. And we are starting to see the rise of institutional products around the cryptocurrency space, with Bitcoin becoming the fastest institutional product in the form of an ETF ever in existence. We're now seeing that extend to the altcoin sector. And Hedera has been chosen to be a part of that, whether it's what Canary are doing or whether it's the like of Coinbase, essentially paving the way for basket ETFs and trackers of the industry that are very popular. I think the most popular product is essentially the S&P ETFs and things like this. Both of these players are paving the way for Hedera to gain that institutional adoption from an allocation point of view. And the amazing thing with Hedera is it's not Bitcoin in the sense that it's just an alternative store of value. It's a usable distributed ledger to fundamentally change the entire financial landscape through tokenization, through stable coins and many other things. And through use cases like what we see Mondelez operate. We covered that not so long ago. We know the Nairobi Stock Exchange are essentially tokenizing their entire securities exchange. Certainly Nairobi is the largest exchange in a part of Africa. It's the fourth largest exchange in the whole of the continent of Africa. Obviously, you've got the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, which sort of dwarfs the rest. But Hedera ticks so many boxes, and this is just another piece, perhaps, or part of the Hedera puzzle that is ultimately going to lead to, in my opinion, some pretty interesting price action. And to sort of finish things off a little bit on price, because I think, we noticed the frustration. Look, I've came out as the Lord Commander of the Hedera army. Okay? We've been persecuted massively for its underperformance thus far. But I went through the same thing with ADA back in 2020 and ultimately became one of the best performing assets in the entire space. I think Hedera is on a similar journey. And I think when people were getting very disheartened down here, we said, don't short that support. This is basing. The bigger the base, the bigger the move. I can show you plenty of examples of charts that have based like this and gone on and done spectacular things. And I think Hedera's day is still to come. That's good news if you're an investor. It's bad news if you're just here for some short-term price action and wanting to get rich overnight. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. I certainly don't believe it will. And we did look, if we go over to the meeting, we looked at a number of falling wedges, and of course, Hedera was one. And we said this was your breakout point. Really, all this is a retest before you get that continuation. And ETC has been a great example. Back in 2018, I remember trading this falling wedge, and this is how we know what we're looking at for Hedera, in the sense that this broke out, retest, and then did something like this. Cardano and others that we looked at have already done that for us thus far. Breakout, retest, and off you go. This actually made its target. So Hedera, higher prices to come in my opinion. I believe, have got a lot of people who would be looking to get out of their Hedera position because they don't really want to hold it, because they perhaps lost faith in it due to certain things that have happened. But that's the beautiful thing about free will, is it's entirely up to you guys what it is you choose to do with your capital. I think this is massive news for Hbar, its entire community. It unlocks the institutional door to the space from an investment point of view. And ultimately, with some of the or major players, largest in the UK, for example, sort of investment operations or operators, who knows what this may lead to. So that's it from me, guys. I just wanted to share this absolutely spectacular news with you. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and I'll see you all in the next one.